Jody, would you mind just starting off with a quick introduction of you and then more about Superior Public Schools?
Sure. My name is Jody Firestein. I'm the elementary principal at Superior Public Schools. We're a rural district, so in the elementary pre-K through 5, we have about 210 students or so we're very small. And I've been the principal there for 3 years, but I've worked in the district my entire career, which will be coming up on 22 years now.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So,
can you tell me a little bit more about what prompted you all to adopt a student data and assessment solution like Otus?
Yeah, I think about 6 years ago, a few teachers and our superintendent at the time were at a technology conference and were introduced to Otus, and they were looking for a place to house all of our third-party data, like our map data, our EDSCAS data, some of the screening tools that we use. Prior to that, everything was kind of all over the place in different platforms, and we just weren't using data as much as we needed to, and so we felt like having a location for all of that would help the teachers to use it more. We were also getting started with some curriculum and assessment changes in our district, and we knew that we were going to be moving towards standards reference grading, and our current student information system grading platform wasn't going to work for that. And so I was an administrator at the time. It was a couple other teachers in administration that looked at Otus and a couple other platforms and decided on Otus. And then we've just kind of grown from there, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been really organic in terms of how you all have adopted the platform in other areas. I'm curious, when schools adopt new technology, especially given how much technology is in schools and how many other platforms teachers have experience using, was there any expectation versus reality in terms of the implementation and teacher buy-in, any challenges that you all had to overcome, or how did the implementation go for you all, especially being this many years in?
Yeah, I became principal 3 years ago, and about that same time was when we really started doing more standards reference grading at the elementary building as well. It just kind of all happened together.
Yeah.
And I just really jumped into Otus and had a couple teachers that had already been dabbling in it, and then we just jumped in, and now our K through 5 teachers are using it for all of their grading. All of our assessments are in Otus, and we've then continued to build and use Otus in different ways as well. So
I'd love to hear that. And I want to talk more about those assessments for sure, because that's such a big part of standards-based grading is having the data from formatives or summatives. Can you tell me just a little bit more about where teachers are at in the assessment process? Are they, did they create everything in Otus? Are they using some curriculum assessments like Eureka Math, or what exactly does their assessment usage in Otus look like?
Yeah. At our district, we have a local curriculum with local standards called Outcomes and Components, and we're able to upload those as custom standards into Otus. And so then our teachers are writing their own assessments. Sometimes we use assessments like from Eureka, or we're getting ready to really tackle our CKLA or ELA assessments. So we use those assessments as starting points. But then what we love about Otus is that we're able to totally customize the assessments to whatever fits our standards. And so teachers are doing both summative and formative assessments right in Otus. We're linking those to our standards. We're using proficiency scale grading as well at the elementary. And so all of that has just kind of come together, and Otus has really been kind of the piece that's, I guess, got us to where we're at.
Yeah, that's so exciting to hear that you've kind of tapped into those different assessments that are available, but then, like you said, you still want it to reflect what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that homegrown piece is so important. I do want to touch on the standards because we do get a lot of questions around this. So you all have your own custom standards. Is this like a variation of Nebraska state standards, or the student-friendly language? How did you all choose to adapt them to kind of fit what you're doing with students?
We basically wrote our local curriculum of in Superior what we expect kids to learn, what teachers are going to teach, students are going to learn, and those are aligned to the state standards. But those custom standards are our local standards. So some of them are aligned to state standards, and others are additional ones that we just feel are important. But yeah, they're aligned to the state standards. But those custom standards is then what we're able to upload into Otus.
It's nice that the teachers can see for when they're measuring those standards exactly what you all have developed. I think that's where there's often some gaps between product functionality and customizations like that. So
and the teachers don't have to worry if their teaching and covering the state standards because we've already done that work for them and made sure that those custom standards are aligned. So,
are teachers using the data from these assessments for instruction, or what do those conversations look like after the assessments?
So after the assessments are given, math was the first subject area that we went through the process with, because at the elementary, every teacher teaches every subject and you can't do everything all at once. So we started with math, and after math assessments are given, both a formative assessment along the way to that summative, the teachers are then looking at that data to see which students are at a 3, which in our proficiency scale means they've met that standard, and then which kiddos are then maybe at a 2 or a 1.5, and then they do some reteaching with those students and give them the opportunity to reassess. If they're in a 3, they're given the opportunity to take an advanced level question to demonstrate proficiency beyond the expectations, and so then they can earn a 4 as well. So they're using those results from the assessments for both intervention and enrichment instruction.
That's wonderful to hear that kind of both ends of students' those extension opportunities are being provided. So it sounds like everyone's getting what they need, which is huge. I just have one final question for you. Looking ahead to the new school year, we're sitting here in the summer, but looking ahead to the new school year, what are you all going to be most focused on, and then where does Otus fit in?
So last year we started using plans. That was a good first year, but we have some things that we're going to change or revise a little bit moving into this next year. And have figured out a couple other ways to use the plans piece. And so that's a goal, is to dabble in that a little bit more. And then I also want to do a better job this year. Actually, back to the original reason we purchased Otus was for that third-party data. I want to do a better job of using that as a building and really looking at building-wide data. I just attended the session about that and got some good ideas about how to look at grade level data based on our custom standards. So I could look at the strand all the way through kindergarten through 5th grade that's looking at math fact fluency, for example, and I can really see how we're doing as a building with that skill. So,
well, we're excited to follow your journey this year and
Thank you.
continue to support y'all. We really thank you for just being a good partner. Thank you so much.